the morning sun filtered through the blinds of Emma's small apartment, casting a soft golden glow across the room. She sat at her desk, her laptop open in front of her, but her mind was far from work. Her fingers tapped nervously on the keyboard, her thoughts consumed by one thing, and one thing only: how do I ask him out without making it weird? Emma was 26, a freelance writer with a love for books, coffee, and long walks in the park. She was the kind of person who could strike up a conversation with anyone, but when it came to matters of the heart, she froze. And now, there was him. His name was Jake. He was the barista at the coffee shop she frequented every morning. He had a warm smile, a quick wit, and a way of making her feel like she was the only person in the room. For months, they had exchanged small talk, comments about the weather, her order, a vanilla latte with an extra shot of espresso, and the occasional book recommendation. But lately, Emma had started to feel something more. She looked forward to seeing him every morning, and the thought of not seeing him made her chest tighten. But how do you go from "can I get a vanilla latte" to "would you like to go out with me," without feeling like a complete fool? That was the question that had been keeping her up at night. Emma sighed and closed her laptop. She needed advice, and there was only one person she could turn to, her best friend, Sarah. Sarah was the opposite of Emma in almost every way. Confident, outgoing, and never afraid to speak her mind, she was the kind of person who could walk into a room and own it. Emma, on the other hand, was more reserved, more cautious. But that's why they worked so well together, they balanced each other out. Emma grabbed her phone and dialed Sarah's number. After a few rings, Sarah picked up, her voice cheerful and full of energy. "Hey, Em. What's up?" "I need your help," Emma blurted out, her voice tinged with desperation. Sarah laughed. "Okay, spill. What's going on?" Emma took a deep breath. "There's this guy. Jake. He works at the coffee shop I go to every morning. And I think I like him. Like, really like him. But I have no idea how to ask him out without making it awkward." There was a pause on the other end of the line, and then Sarah's voice came through, calm and reassuring. "Okay, first of all, take a deep breath. You're overthinking this. Asking someone out doesn't have to be a big, dramatic thing. It can be simple, casual, and yes, even not awkward." Emma groaned. "Easy for you to say. You're not the one who has to face him every morning if he says no." "True," Sarah said, "but here's the thing, you'll never know unless you try. And trust me, the worst thing that can happen is he says no. And if he does, so what? You move on. But what if he says yes? What if he's been waiting for you to make the first move?" Emma bit her lip, considering Sarah's words. She had a point. But still, the thought of putting herself out there was terrifying. "Okay," Emma said finally. "But how do I do it? What do I say?" Sarah chuckled. "It's simple. Just be yourself. You don't need some grand gesture or a perfectly rehearsed speech. Just say something like, 'Hey, I was wondering if you'd like to grab a coffee sometime, outside of work, I mean.' Keep it light, keep it casual. And most importantly, don't overthink it." Emma nodded, even though Sarah couldn't see her. "Okay. I can do that. I think." "You can," Sarah said firmly. "And hey, if it makes you feel better, I'll be your moral support. Text me before and after, and I'll be here to cheer you on." Emma smiled, feeling a little bit of the weight lift off her shoulders. "Thanks, Sarah. I don't know what I'd do without you." "Probably stay single forever," Sarah teased. "Now go get your man." The next morning, Emma stood outside the coffee shop, her heart pounding in her chest. She had rehearsed what she was going to say 100 times, but now that the moment was here, her mind was blank. She took a deep breath and pushed open the door, the familiar scent of coffee beans and pastries washing over her. Jake was behind the counter, his usual smile in place as he greeted her. "Hey, Emma." "The usual?" Emma nodded, her throat suddenly dry. "Yeah, thanks. As Jake prepared her drink, Emma fidgeted with the strap of her bag, her mind racing. This is it. Just say it. Just ask him. Jake handed her the latte, his fingers brushing against hers for the briefest moment. Here you go. Emma took the cup, her hands trembling slightly. Thanks, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. She hesitated, then blurted out, Hey, Jake? He looked up, his eyes meeting hers. Yeah? Emma took a deep breath. I was wondering, would you maybe want to grab a coffee sometime? Like, not here. Somewhere else. If you're not busy, I mean. There was a moment of silence, and Emma felt like the world had stopped. Then Jake smiled, a slow, genuine smile that made her heart skip a beat. I'd like that, he said, his voice warm. How about this weekend? Emma felt a rush of relief and excitement. This weekend sounds great. Jake nodded, his smile never wavering. Cool. I'll text you. Emma nodded, feeling a grin spread across her face. Yeah. I'd like that. As she walked out of the coffee shop, her latte in hand, Emma felt like she was floating. She had done it. She had asked him out, and he had said yes. It hadn't been awkward at all. In fact, it had been easy. She pulled out her phone and quickly texted Sarah. Emma, I did it. He said yes. Sarah's response came almost immediately. Sarah, I knew you could do it. Proud of you, girl. Now go get ready for your date. Emma smiled, her heart full. For the first time in a long time, she felt like anything was possible. The weekend arrived, and Emma found herself standing outside a cozy little cafe, her nerves once again getting the best of her. She had spent hours picking out the perfect outfit, and now she was second-guessing everything. Was this too much? Too little? What if he didn't like it? Before she could spiral further, she saw Jake walking toward her, his hands in his pockets and a smile on his face. He looked just as nervous as she felt, and somehow, that made her feel better. Hey, he said as he approached, his voice soft. Hey, Emma replied, her voice equally quiet. There was a moment of awkward silence, and then Jake chuckled. So, should we go in? Emma nodded, feeling a smile tug at her lips. Yeah. Let's. They found a table near the window, the sunlight streaming in and casting a warm glow over everything. They ordered their drinks, another latte for Emma, a black coffee for Jake, and then they just talked. It was easy, natural. They talked about everything and nothing, their favorite books, their dreams, their fears. Emma found herself opening up to Jake in ways she hadn't with anyone else, and he did the same. It was as if they had known each other for years, not just a few months. As the afternoon turned into evening, Emma realized something: she wasn't nervous anymore. She was just happy. Happy to be here, with him, in this moment. So, Jake said as they walked out of the cafe, the sun setting behind them. I had a really great time today. Emma smiled, her heart swelling with emotion. Me too. Jake hesitated for a moment, then reached out and took her hand. I was wondering, would you maybe want to do this again? Like, maybe make it a regular thing? Emma felt a rush of warmth spread through her chest. I'd like that, she said, her voice soft but sure. Jake smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. Good. Because I think I could get used to this. As they walked down the street, hand in hand, Emma felt a sense of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. She had taken a chance, and it had paid off in ways she never could have imagined. And as she looked up at Jake, she realized something else: sometimes, the things that scare us the most are the things that are worth it. The video ends with a montage of Emma and Jake's journey together, their first date, their first kiss, their first vacation. The screen fades to black, and the words "How to ask someone out without feeling awkward" appear, followed by a heartfelt message. Remember, love is worth the risk. Be yourself, be brave, and don't be afraid to take the first step. Your happily ever after might be just around the corner.